E11. Welcome back.
In Lake Tahoe.
What's cooking, Maddie? What's been going on?
Our last episode was pre-Burning Man.
We were chilling up.
Yeah.
The long lines to Black Rock City in the Nevada desert where it's held. And so on the other end of it, we thought we'd try to unpack and decompress the real and raw experience to you if you've ever been there, if you're interested in being there, or maybe you've never heard about it. And this might just put something as an experience on your radar. Where do we begin?
Big disclaimer. And you agree as well, that I think we cannot ever do it justice because it's just something that is so visceral and you have to be there and feel it physically and emotionally. And so I don't think any stories, photos, words, videos will ever do what we just experienced justice.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be honest and authentic to ourselves if we didn't pursue our, quest of trying to document and share things as they are. For our reference or for our friends or others. So this is an attempt for us to try and distill a mind-boggling 7-8 days. Yeah. If you'll stick with us, hopefully
and I think that's kind of the reason why people are drawn to going. It's like they want to experience it for themselves.
100%.
It's
so I hope this is the breadcrumb for someone listening.
It's like the indescribable nature of it that you just go, what is it? What's all the fuss about?
And that's where it started for me literally 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like a friend of a friend. In a circle of those that we loved electronic music, we loved music festivals in Australia. I was working at Uber at the time, so a lot of us were cookers and sesh gremlins, as we call ourselves. And one just kind of very humbly, was very calm, kind of like a little spiritual kind of guy, was talking about this thing called Burning Man. And it seemed this weird esoteric hippie kind of festival at the time.
Yep.
But
What are you going to take a picture of our family?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah. Can you do it?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Out there. No worries.
Cheeky little pause and intermission. We just had a gentleman ask us if we could kindly take a photo of the spam.
But Maddie beautifully obliged. You'll have to see her in the background. And she'd snapping a couple of photos.
It's beautiful. I'll do one like this.
2, 1. And we're back.
Okay.
Beautiful. As I said, rolling with the punches. How was the photo?
Family photo was great.
Fantastic.
Cute family.
Rolling. That's what we do. We do very, very well.
Yeah.
We kept it in because we wanted to show you that's what happens.
Okay.
Love it. Love it. So I think I was giving a side quest as to how Burning Man often can be you hear about it as a breadcrumb.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of little left of field experience and someone who's a friend of a friend has done it, but you don't quite know about it.
Yeah.
And so,
especially for us in Australia. I think here in the US it's a bit different. Most people know about it.
Yeah.
But
and even the regionals that happen in Australia, I didn't even know about until I went to the American Burning Man.
Yeah.
There's actually Australian mini Burning Man.
Yeah. So why don't we start, for those who want to hear from someone who's been, what is Burning Man?
Oh, do you want to start?
You want me to do this? Okay. Yeah, it's like a week-long event, not a festival, event in the Nevada desert, and it's barren. It's just on a dried up lake bed. Lake bed.
Yep.
And the city is literally built from the participants. So there is nothing, and then it becomes this amazing city. And it's 70 to 80,000 people every year. And
the magic that you just touched on as a quick aside is that Maddie said the participants are also the organisers.
Yeah.
So unlike festivals or big events you go to where there's a clear delineation between those that are running it and making money off it and selling sponsorships and selling products to participants, that all becomes one.
Yeah, it's not for profit. It's wild to think that this whole city comes to life purely because of the people and not any companies. Yep. Yeah, it's incredible.
Decentralized.
Yeah. Goes for a week, Sunday to Sunday, around August, September. People from all over the world come, and it's not just music. What else is it?
There's arts, there's workshops. There are, yoga, dance.
So many activities.
Different camps you can immerse yourself in.
Theme camps, food.
Yeah, it's really it's whatever the limit is to human creativity, which there is none.
Yeah.
You can express it or find it or show it or share it or gift it.
Yes.
Within this space.
Yeah, and so I think that leads nicely into the whole guiding principles of Burning Man. So there's 10. Testing ourselves, can we remember them? I do have them written here, but I won't look at them. Yeah.
If not, we'll back on the screen as we talk.
Yeah. Number 1.
In no particular order?
No particular order.
Okay, great, because that's way too hard.
Yeah.
I'd say, is it inclusion?
Radical inclusion.
Radical inclusion.
Yeah, that is number 1.
Word.
Yeah.
That came up.
Radical self-reliance.
Yes, number 2.
So that means you have to bring everything and you have to take everything out. So
pack it in, pack it out.
Yeah, all our rubbish we had to take out. You have to bring all your water in. Now we were lucky; we were part of a camp, and so that was organised for us. But if you were doing it solo, you'd have to bring enough water for a week.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the external interpretation
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
I wanted to go a little under the iceberg. What's another side of radical self-reliance?
Oh
that you
yes,
touched on?
which I definitely learned
this.
is finding the resources within yourself to manage and deal and work through whatever is coming up. So a lot of people can have tough emotional
Experiences?
or overwhelming experiences at Burning Man because it is a really harsh environment and it's very overstimulating. And so I definitely experienced that, and I was on my own and I had to work through that, and I did consider going to get help, but I was really proud that I went through that on my own.
Yeah. And I was also really moved to hear that.
Yeah.
Because I think that you embodied that principle without actively thinking about it.
Yeah.
Somehow in that moment, I think it was like the environment put
I
you
was
in
kind
the
of
state
like,
where you
even
went.
if I went and got help, I know that all they would do is try and empower me to fix
100%.
it myself. So I was like, well, I'm just going to fix it myself. Yeah. Yeah. Or
Beautiful.
go through it myself.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Third one, radical self-expression. Now,
Very good.
Great things come in threes. I think there's the last one that starts with radical, just so you know. Big on the word radical. We're not going to rattle 10 of them all to say the same. Radical self-expression, it really encourages a non-judgment zone of us to kind of tap into that creative, inner childlike nature, whether it is the way that you communicate, the way that you dress, the way that you feel and carry yourself.
Yeah.
There's really a lot about shaking
So
off those conventional default world norms.
Conditions.
Default world is what the burners, as we've come to refer to, as like the normal world that we're in.
Yeah.
And you can kind of just let go of all those masks and veneers and personas and just be who you really are.
Yeah.
It's not asking you to be something you're not.
Yeah.
And I think we all have that. It's just an environment that gives everyone permission to do it.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful when you
It's
see that.
it's so empowering when you see
isn't it?
everyone else doing it, and you then just feel even more empowered.
You
to
feel
do it
out
yourself.
of place
Yeah,
if you're not actually self-expressing,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I thought was so good.
Yeah.
And the power of environment
Yeah.
and proximities,
Okay.
really good.
Next to gifting and
Oh, you're good. Yeah.
decommodification.
Decommodification. Awesome. That's a lot of syllables. Go with the first one.
Gifting, so no monetary exchange except for buying ice. And it was by far one of my favorite things to experience, in that you just gift. There's no expectation that you're going to reciprocate. It's just you give and you just receive. And it's just the most beautiful thing that you can ever experience. Yeah.
100%.
And obviously decommodification is there's no, branding, there's no companies, there's no it's just
Major sponsorships.
yeah, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's unlike anything you've ever experienced because it's just so heavy in our world here. To experience the complete opposite is really uplifting and inspiring.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, definitely. I'm really going off a whim here for the remaining five. I was going to say, I think I remember one was leave no trace.
Yep, leave no trace,
Yep.
yes, which is self-explanatory.
Yep.
Participation.
Oh, very good.
Participation.
Yes.
So Burning Man is built on people participating, not just sitting back and watching and enjoying, but actually contributing.
Yeah. Is there one that was, I'm really winging here, was it communal or something with collective? I might be wrong here.
Communal effort.
Communal effort, I was close.
Yeah,
Communal effort,
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Everyone contributes, everyone plays a part. So
Yeah.
whether you're part of an art installation or even a camp, there is kind of this unspoken expectation that, you can either set up at your campsite, you can pack down, you can contribute by picking up something called moop, which is matter outside of the playa.
Yeah.
I know I've thrown a lot of syllables probably your way. The playa is also a reference to the lands in which you are, the desert,
land,
which I think
yeah.
in Spanish is for beach.
Yeah.
So it's there's some way that we are all contributing towards the experience together and everyone has ownership towards that, but it might look different for every person.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about that. It's not a prescribed role. It's
Yeah.
you probably know what your gifts are or your strengths are, and then how can you offer that?
Yeah. I had a quick peek, but
Yeah, go on.
civic responsibility.
Very good,
So, if you build a camp or you build a art installation that people can climb, it's you take responsibility for making sure it's safe. Is how I interpreted that on.
I think I got that one as well. Yeah. And I don't know if that's either tinkling at 9 or 10, but have you got any remaining?
There's one more, immediacy.
Ah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Which people have their own interpretations, but we spoke about this and I interpreted it as being really present and in the moment and enjoying what is going on for you inside and also what's going on externally and not feeling pulled out of that situation by, worries or thoughts about, the future or the past.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't think I've got anything to add.
Great. Okay, so that's our take on Burning Man.
Amazing. No, take a Burning Man. Nah, just joking. Those are the 10 principles to guide
10
everyone.
principles, yeah.
Now let's break it down. We got a little bit of structure to keep us on track.
Yeah. So something I wanted to talk about was I had a lot of thoughts, sentences, words, or opinions sort of thrown at me from people who maybe hadn't gone to Burning Man about what their like thoughts about it was. And it's really interesting because the more I learned as we were like getting involved and getting prepared and then actually going to it now having been is like so many
Stark
people have
contrast,
wildly
isn't it?
different like opinions and thoughts about what it is versus what it actually is.
Yeah.
And I think because, you know, people consume a lot of things from social media, they get only this certain viewpoint. And sure, like some people think it is an Instagram playground and maybe it is for a pocket of people. And we did see, you know, towards the end, there were definitely people who just come in for the weekend and it's all about getting the photos and being the influencer and whatever. But I had a totally different experience to what, you know, some perceptions had put out there. And it's something I think everyone can take away is like, Burning Man is what you make it. Oof. Like, you can have a wildly different experience to someone else. Someone might just be going there for the music and like really just want to fully immerse all of the music. Someone might be going there for the art. Someone might be going there for like the community and the self-expression and or multiple reasons. And so it's literally a pocket for everything. Like you can find whatever you want from it. And there was people from all different ages. Like we had someone in our camp who was 80. I saw babies there. I saw children, families. Like it was so beautiful. So there's people from all walks of life. And I think just like it's funny. We all cast these judgments and opinions, but it was wildly different to what I could have imagined.
And to balance that perspective, like take full ownership, like probably 10, 15 years ago when I wasn't as open-minded, and I was probably at the mercy of like news feeds and media and like, you know, getting the very like clickbaity headlines, I probably had a very closed mind towards doing an experience like this. I would have said, why on earth would I pay thousands of dollars to dance in the dust for 7 days with a bunch of randoms from all over the world? That sounds like the worst thing to do. And yet now we might allude to it later on. Like this is something that like once we've done it, we're like, we've got the bug. Like I know I want to be able to return this and incorporate this into my life going forward. So depending on where you're at, you know, I have no judgment whatsoever. I've been the person with the closed-minded and that may be where you're at. I'm just here right now, we're just here right now to share a really honest experience. To hopefully just move you a little bit along that spectrum. We're not saying we'll see you at Burning Man next year.
No.
We're saying like...
Because it's definitely not for some people.
It's
like
not for everyone.
absolutely it's not for everyone. Like it is hard.
And the culture would be undermined or compromised if everyone in the world tried to do Burning Man. Like it's probably not ready for it.
Totally.
But ironically, it's also very inclusive and it does welcome like a lot of people to come to the festival. Oh, sorry, to the festival, to the experience.
Totally. And I guess that's probably leads in nicely to like setting the scene in terms of like the weather, the dust, the reality, the preparation.
Let's say it, break it down like what it is.
We did share in our last podcast a bit about the preparation and it is intense. We had our probably biggest breakdown-ish moment with the prep. And I think I was speaking to a lot of other people and they said, the prep is so stressful.
Prep's real.
But once you're there, it's like, if you've obviously, you know, are in a good place, then it's amazing. But that's not without to dismiss that it is a harsh environment. Like it's a desert. So it's hot. And it's cold at night.
Lay down as a health professional, break down all the health challenges.
And there's like, you know, real risks of dehydration. There's like wounds don't really heal because the dust is so like alkalinic and like people by like day 3 or day 4 will start to have a bit of a funny spell because they're so dehydrated and
inhaling all the dust.
And all the dust, so you constantly have dust everywhere. And you've got to really, like it really, 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 really forces you to look after yourself.
100%.
Because
no one else is going to do it. You got to,
people who don't, they get sick or, you know, they then can't really enjoy the rest of Burning Man. So it's like such a fine balance between like, there's so much out there you want to explore, but at the same time you have to really take care of yourself and like make sure you have rest. It's a very overstimulating environment. So it's a challenge. But that's what the beauty of it is.
I think that's the magic.
Would you have anything else to add there?
No, I think you've touched on all the health realities.
Or maybe like
I'm probably
make or
gonna
break?
Well, what do you make or break?
Like we heard.
So there was a bit of like a forewarning. We actually got to speak to a colleague or a client of mine that I work with referred me to a seasoned burner, and he was so kind to jump on a call with us and give us a bit of a frame up of what to expect. And obviously noted us as a couple, and he shared that it's commonly known that couples, you know, it can be a make or break. If you if you're an individual and you're single and you're going to Burning Man, it's already enough of an intense environment anyway, on a survival basis, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all the above. So you add that with like a couple and your metal will be tested.
Because like you know, there'll be times when someone will want to do something, but someone won't.
Yeah.
And like just so many communication points where it's
so
like
many,
easy for breakdown to happen.
Yeah, or lack of communication points, which
Yeah.
causes the breakdown as well.
Yeah.
Because you're in different time, not time zones, but you all want to do different things. You have no reception effectively, so you maybe see each other 2 or 3 times a day at
but
camp.
then plans just don't go to plan. And
So I think we had that initial apprehension, but for reference, again, if we haven't shared in a previous podcast, we don't know. As of the time of this recording, we've been dating for just over 6 years, and we have had a lot of like really testing personal, professional moments in our relationship with long distance, losing loved ones, changes in work, health challenges. So maybe that was for us a bit of a training grounds. But the Burning Man is its own beast.
So
we front loaded a lot of work in that week,
Yeah.
the week leading up to it,
Yeah.
to be like, hey, like, what are our intentions? You know, what are our boundaries? What are our aspirations? What are our expectations? We actually had this chat.
And we wrote down like answers for all of those independently and then came together and discussed it. And it was the best fucking thing.
It was probably the best thing.
Because-
IBAE.
Yeah,
so for
IBAE.
IBAE if you want. Intentions, boundaries, aspirations, or maybe
man.
ambitions and expectations.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
And we realized after we did that, we were on the same page for a lot of things,
Yep.
but there was definitely things that we acknowledged, like we did on our own time to go and explore on our own.
Yep. And even the few ambiguities we had, we actually closed a loop of them. And that felt really good.
Yeah.
I thought that was really
And
good.
it was something that I loved about Burning Man was that it like made me feel so much more connected to you.
Yeah.
And so much more love. Like it amplified what I already thought I could feel for us, which is so beautiful.
Because I felt like you had my
Yeah.
back and I had yours.
Yeah.
I think the underlying thing with all communication,
Yeah.
is one takeaway, from this, is like people crave to be understood or to be heard.
Yeah.
And I think by us just like instead of waiting to hear someone when the damage has been done and the wound is inflicted and then trying to repair, what if you ask someone ahead of time and you try and understand and hear from them before something happens? Because then you've all got a point of reference. You've got a yardstick to say, hey, that was your standard. Hey, that was violated. It's like, you know where you're coming from. But we never really got there.
Yeah, so I'm super proud that we did it,
So you can
did
do
it really well.
All right.
yeah.
I know that the myth is out there that a lot of relationships get broken up, and I'm sure they do.
Which we after our
And we-
Burning
yeah,
Man,
share the
ironically,
story.
we were like
Little
we came
side
to our
story.
house sit and the van was covered in dust. So it was really
we're
obvious.
Real obvious burners. Yeah.
And this guy was walking past and he was like,
Oh, if
so
he
you've
ever
been to
watches this.
Burning Man? And then we were like, oh yeah. And he's like, how was it? We were like, oh yeah, it was great. Like we were
loving
stoked.
it. Yeah.
And I could tell like his energy was not the same.
Oh,
And he was like, oh yeah, me and my partner broke up.
and then, do you want to share the aside he kind of put in? He's like, oh, polygamy doesn't really
Yeah,
work.
he was like, don't do polyamory.
Don't do polyamory, which is like being open to multiple
Yeah,
relationships,
yeah,
multiple
yeah.
loves.
And he was like, "Are you guys a couple?" And we were like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, how did you find it?" And we were like, "Yeah, it was great." But I
Yeah.
didn't want to like rub salt in the wound.
We didn't
yeah.
tell him about the IBAE framework though. Maybe that's what could have saved them. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, he was very sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry thoughts. Wasn't
Sorry,
he?
someone to see. Yeah, fair enough. And it's hard enough with the post-burn decompression anyway.
Yeah.
But no, before we go through the rest of the week and some
Yeah.
highlights, I think the only other things on the logistics I wanted to mention that is like a massive
Yeah.
winner if you're thinking of doing this is linking up with a camp,
Yeah.
a registered camp for your first burn in
time,
particular.
totally.
It just helped us solve things
Yeah.
like water. Otherwise, you've got to bring like
Grey
something
water
like
disposal.
grey water disposal, which is
Yeah.
like how you get rid of, you obviously don't want to
used
be
water.
pouring water and just, you don't want to be putting all your waste, your body waste onto the actual dust.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. It's an
Yeah.
absolute no-go. So having,
There are portaloos though, if you're wondering.
There are, sorry,
there
there are
are
portaloos,
portaloos,
and
so you
they're
don't have to take your.
Yeah, don't worry. And they sell bags of ice. That's the only thing that
Yeah.
you do exchange
Yeah,
the currency. We said decommodification,
Yeah.
so there's no currency, but the only thing you need money for is usually ice.
Ice, yeah.
And you bring your own food. So, yeah, other than that, a camp is usually a good way to baby step into it because you'll be with seasoned burners and an organised leader. Ours was even a ranger. So the Burning Man organisation has rangers that are trained, know how to provide a level of kind of like operational, logistical, and kind of like health support. They're not
Yeah.
law enforcing, but they can help you out.
Yeah.
And that really gave us a lot of peace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right.
And we nailed the food prep.
Yep. Well,
We
I'd say
ate well.
Maddie nailed the food prep. She went
No,
ham.
you were part of it.
I'm like,
And that was important because I think if you're eating shit all week, you're gonna feel shit.
You're gonna tank.
And
Yeah.
it's
It's like if you're
important.
doing a 2-3 day festival, I'll say this, I've done it before, I've eaten like shit. You can do that and you can bounce back, but it's like when your
man,
body lacks the
we
nutrients.
we were so thankful. We saw everyone else eating like backcountry meals day
Like day
in,
4
day
and day
out.
5, and I'm like, we're like gourmeting this up.
Yeah.
We've still got like
We had, like,
avocados,
eggs.
tomatoes, eggs going
Oh,
for
man,
us.
so good.
Yeah.
Next, how did Burning Man challenge you to grow? as a human? What was something that stood out to you that you were like, yeah, I learned from that, I grew from that. That was a challenge. I got through it at Burning Man.
Yeah, I think the first one probably came to mind was there was a pretty liberating physical experience I had. There was a camp that's been running, I think, nearly since the dawn of Burning Man. They're called the Human Carcass Wash.
Yeah.
And the way that our camp leader explained it was that it was basically kind of like a communal experience based on communication, trust, and consent, where fellow burners would all participate in this kind of group showering scenario.
Yeah.
Now, I will throw in a little disclaimer. Depending on where you're at, this might shake or rattle you a little bit, but just come with an open mind, because that's what I did. And that's exactly how I felt when I first came to the experience. I was a little bit locked up, a little bit closed, a little bit unsure. And in short, without providing too much graphic detail, is that it's a camp where there's kind of I want to say a gauntlet line, but I don't know what other word other than gauntlet.
There's stations.
There's
Full
stations.
stations.
Yeah.
Soap.
No, water down first.
Water,
Yeah,
rinse. Soap,
rinse,
and then squeegee.
and then squeegee.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's if you're receiving, you're also giving. And what I mean by that is you're contributing towards helping clean and cleanse others, but then you also receive.
Yeah.
What I think was really, for me, was really a big growth edge was that I came and maybe more personally, I just noticed that there, at the time, weren't many people of colour within the actual camp. Yep. And that's not a massive problem. I think it was just the first time.
Like the people that were cycling through at that time.
People that were cycling through it. And to be fair, I never really thought out of place. It wasn't really a big thing, but I think I had a lot of potential body insecurities or questions kind of come up, being I understand we're normalizing a lot of these behaviors, but I was I actually feel a little very different to everyone else because I'm not seeing many people of my kind. Anyway, I'm really fortunate I was with Maddy at the time, and the group that we were with, and even the process we went through, because I just stripped down to my budgie smugglers I was wearing, and everyone in our group was just naked.
Yeah.
And so we had a really wonderful lead from the camp who kind of spoke through the expectations, how to give consent, how things worked.
Yeah.
And I think just being present and slowly letting my guard drop and me being really closed off, coming in with what I felt probably around nudity and all that growing up and all the crap I felt growing up.
Yeah.
I just felt very liberated. And I realized that no one was focused on it.
No.
We all had these asymmetrical, imperfect bodies. No one cared. It wasn't photoshopped. It was just no one cared about it.
And it was so normal when everyone around you is also just naked and not caring about it. It's so normal. But then, you just can't do that in the real world because it's we've just
100%.
conditioned that nudity is
That's the stuff that came in. There was when they say, at least when we spoke about radical self-expression, I'm not saying everyone needs to be nude or whatnot, but I definitely realized that in this world, clothes, as an analogy or metaphor, we cover ourselves a lot with actually who we are. And I think I realized that in that moment, I was I was so preoccupied and focused on myself and my ego rather than the community experience of just contributing. And I was no one really cares, Dan. You're getting too in yourself. You're
I was really proud of you that you changed and then you're
changed. I was just it's fine. This is all good. And I'm grateful that time from when I came there with you and I warmed up to that decision to be that was a really big moment of growth for me at that time.
For sure.
And that really stood out for me from that point onwards.
Yeah, beautiful.
How about yours?
Thanks for sharing.
Pleasure.
I feel, so I did that experience as well, and that was really powerful because I don't think I've ever been completely naked, just chilling out with all these other humans who are also naked, but it's not sexual at all. It's not, and I just felt so safe and so held and so I felt so safe the whole entire time at Burning Man. I never really have felt like that. And to just be, who we are. Yeah. And I grew a lot in my body confidence for sure. That was huge. I think, and just being able to, not worry about, how my boobs look or my tummy or anything like that used to probably go through my mind. I really felt like I just shed a lot of that and just showed up. And
100%.
We didn't go ham on the outfits. A lot of people really fashion is a really
high value.
Yeah, high value, and it's people have amazing outfits and incredible effort goes into them, and we didn't really do that. And there was a point where I kind of felt a little bit insecure about that. I was I'm just kind of wearing my normal-ish clothes, sort of dressed up a little bit, but
Yeah.
You know, and I wish they had have maybe put more effort into that, because I realized maybe I do care a bit more about that. But then at the same time, I was like, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can just show up in these clothes. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have to dress up. Like, so it was a really beautiful like dynamic and conversation that I had in my mind. But at the end of it, yeah, I'd say I grew so much in my body confidence and self-expression from just the whole experience.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. +1 to that in a massive way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you see other people just like being themselves, not caring, not worrying, not being insecure, and you can feel it, and everyone's just doing their own thing. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I'll piggyback off the back of exactly like such a similar experience.
Yeah.
Because I also felt the same. I had even more basic clothes than Maddie. Maddie at least she had like a nice zebra tops just to match the animal day. And had a few things. I was like Uniqlo minimal. Like I was like block basics.
Yeah.
Whereas I noticed, I think in the first 2-3 days coming into it, I think as I was maybe like deconditioning or unwiring from the default world, I had all these perceptions where I was looking at people who were self-expressing like radically, and I was judging. I wasn't saying anything, but I still felt it in my mind, and I could catch it.
Yeah.
And I could be like, damn, that's a judgment. Dan, you're being negative. Dan, you're being critical. Where's that
Yeah.
from? And I could catch it. And I just,
Yeah, because it would be so easy to be like, oh my God, look what they're wearing.
100%.
Like,
or like whatever.
Yeah.
And I caught them, and I was like, that doesn't serve me. That doesn't serve that person.
Yeah.
There's nothing with it. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's on me
Yeah.
to not throw into that person. That's an issue that I have to work with. And I thought I was really good.
Yeah.
So I'd just be like, yep, cool. Like it's on the train, let it go. On down the train tracks. And I reckon by third or fourth day, that chatter had gone.
Yeah.
Because I was like, everyone is just...
It just is.
It just is.
Yeah.
It just honestly is.
Yeah.
So that was probably a
Yeah.
really relieving feeling to not have my mind constantly running at 24/7. And even since coming back into the world again, ironically, I felt it come back again. And I don't know why.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why this environment's been a cue. They're not being cured forever, but that's just something I think I experienced. Maybe because the principles were so...
And also because when you're surrounded by other people who are like not commenting or not making remarks,
100%.
that helps.
Yeah.
And so when you come back into this world and you hear other people like casting judgments, then you're like, oh, okay.
And there's a relevant aside.
Yeah.
This is a conversation we actually had 2 days ago. It wasn't until literally the last day, we were sitting around at like Templeburn, that we started actually asking everyone who we'd spend a week with, like, what do you do in the outside world? What do you actually do in the outside world? And notice how the first question people usually do just to like judge and figure out and post a perception
Pinpoint
on you
you,
is, hi, what's your name and what do you do?
Yeah.
And that was the last question that came. I didn't even think about that with everyone.
I said that to you. I was
Right, you said it to me.
like, how
That's
nice
so
was it
true.
to experience the whole week with this group of people?
Yep.
We didn't know what they did.
Yep.
We didn't care.
Yep.
And it wasn't until the end that
Yeah.
we started like sharing what we did in the outside world. And I was like, that never happens.
Yeah, come as you are. I didn't feel like I had to justify this one small pocket of what I do for income for 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
It's like people actually put that away and get to like experience and feel the whole version of you.
Yeah.
And you get to show up as that version.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was cool.
So
yeah. Favorite moment from the vans?
I'm going to let you go first because I felt like when we had this in our circle,
True,
I potentially
you-
stole yours. And I don't know if I'm going to say what yours is, so I'll think of a different one.
Yeah, okay, so it is that moment.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, you do it.
Oh.
The joint favorite.
Oh, there's two.
Say what's
There's
real.
two that
Say
come
what's
to
real to
mind.
you.
Okay, no, I think I will go the first one. So we, in general, found that as the week went on, it changed. And so at the start of the week, I felt like it was kind of like the real hardcore people there who do it for the whole week.
Yeah.
Because on the weekend, lots of people come in just
Yeah,
for
the
the
weekend
weekend. And so I
crowd,
don't, you know, it's not as grueling if you're just coming for a couple of weeks. Like you don't have to.
Yeah. And they all look fresh and perfectly pampered
Yeah.
and full of energy.
Yeah, not covered in dust.
Covered in dust.
But at the start of the week, I think it was like Tuesday, we had this beautiful night, sunset, and we'd met everyone, kind of got to know people from our group, and we all went out biking in the sunset. Actually, we just went by ourselves, but we went to this DJ who made Who, and
DJ set.
the sunset was just like phenomenal. We were just in such a good mood, felt so connected. And then the group found us and we connected. And so we were all just like, I don't know, I could just feel that everyone was just having the time of their life. And to be surrounded by everyone in that, and we're all having so much fun, and we're just like, this moment is so perfect.
Yeah.
You couldn't add anything more, you couldn't take away anything else. It was just so beautiful.
Yeah. When you say the word resonating or vibes or vibrations,
Everyone was like,
I don't know how
level it
esoterical
up.
who you are, but it genuinely felt like there's something about that amplified energy
it
when
was
it's
just,
like we're all there.
oh
We're
my
present.
God, yeah.
We're not thinking about the future or the past. We're just like in this little beautiful energy bubble and we're sharing that with others.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah, so beautiful. What Maddie didn't share is that like, it was funny. I was facing Who Made Who. They were like this beautiful, German or Danish duo. I think they were doing a live hybrid set where they were singing, and I don't know, I hadn't been in a space where I was enjoying live music like this before since like pre-COVID. And I was doing it with my partner, and it all culminated. It was my birthday week as well. Anyway, there you go. Yeah. And I started crying, but I wasn't facing that. I was facing the stage. And it just overwhelmed me. And it was like this euphoria. The sun had just said it was, and I turned around. Unspoken, didn't say a word. He was also crying as well.
I was crying, and then so were other people.
And then so was like Annie, the rest of the group.
Like I looked around, everyone was like crying because of how just like what we were all feeling.
I was like, I don't know if we're going to talk quantum field or what kind of weird energetics we're talking about, but like that was, I'm actually getting hairs reflecting on this memory. How serendipitous that was, or synchronicity of that moment.
So good.
Yeah. As you can tell, I have really nothing to add. That was a joint highlight anyway. Like the whole experience.
Second highlight would probably be seeing Rufus with everyone on like the Friday night.
Stunning.
After we'd missed them multiple times, which is the beauty of the player. You know, they don't like tell you, you know, it's
not the exact time.
Nah.
And player time means that if they say they'll start at, you know, this day, they might start at 2 or they might not show up. Carl Cox was joking. Carl Cox had like 7 scheduled slots, and fair enough, he played at like 4 of them. We just happened to rock up at one of the ones where he ditched. So
anyway, but like it was just beautiful seeing them perform, and it was like one of the biggest crowds that I'd seen gather at Burning Man, and just like the lot.
And if you're a fan, just as a cheeky aside, and you love your music, check out Mind Warrior on YouTube. They uploaded Rufus's set.
Beautiful.
The recording sounds sublime because we were way back. And we were like kind of chatting with that group, but like it's beautiful set to listen to. Yeah, that was phenomenal. And Rufus is like obviously Australian homegrown artist. Maddie and I both had experiences of seeing Rufus when they were like $20 supporting acts.
I saw them 10 years ago in Canada when I was overseas. And they were supporting a desert.
I think I saw them on a side stage when they just released like their debut EP in like 2011. Triple J was starting to give them some love. I was like, oh, like they're great for Aussie. So to see them on one of arguably the most like reputable or iconic, environments to cultivate really beautiful, like thoughtful music. What is it? Not 14 years later since they've been running.
As
Aussies on the other side of the world, like I think that even felt just really special. Kind of having that moment. So I got really nothing else to add. As Maddie said, those are both two.
There's so many more in between. It's often the little moments too. Like there were some big moments, but like I had a beautiful moment where I was just riding by myself across the player, and these two older gentlemen just like stopped me and was like, we think we have something that could really help you. And I was like, oh, okay, what is it? And then they pulled out this handmade felt bike seat cover and was like, this will save you tush for the week. And I was like, and it was so great. It was like so good because you are riding everywhere. And just little moments like that you can't, like grabbing pizza at 7 a.m, a fresh hot wood-fired oven pizza. Yes, I was a naughty celiac.
Cheeky celiac, busted. Footage on the screen right now. But it was absolutely unreal. We're just cycling at an artwork. A man's coming around, gentleman's coming around. Guys, there's free pizza over there. It's wood-fired. And in the normal
they don't say free. There's just, there is pizza.
They didn't say, they didn't say that.
It's just like, do you want pizza? And you're like, yes. And you go over and you just get pizza.
There's DJ playing at 7 a.m. I'm having time of my life. My favorite food is pizza. Yeah, little moments like that.
Just little moments. And like the people.
Side missions for sure.
Yeah.
And then like, I think one of the kind of like iconic, I guess not even installations I want to say, but maybe structures or spaces of Burning Man is the temple.
Oh yeah.
And the temple is this gorgeous, gorgeously designed piece of architecture. And I don't think I can do justice in trying to describe it, but it's it's a space that allows people to mourn, grieve, celebrate, reflect, have some introspection and some stillness, even if you've still got mutant vehicles pumping music in the distance anyway. It's the closest place to maybe reprieve and really like inner solitude you can have. There's always people there. It's always open. And it's a time for many people to often like let go into, I guess.
Put up memorabilia or like letters or notes to loved ones that have passed away, or pets as well. I saw lots of pets
as well anyway. And I don't know how you describe that feeling when you first walked in, but it was just like, that first time we weren't expecting it.
Yeah. We just like, I think it was the first night on the player.
It was the first, we were just exploring.
And we were just like riding around exploring all the amazing art and lighting. And we came across the temple and I was like, do you want to go in? And we were like, sure. But we didn't really realize what we were walking into. And it only just opened. I think, it was the second night. It opened. And I like walked through the doors And I hadn't read any of the messages or like, you know, letters to loved ones because they are like, oh my God, they're just heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
I hadn't read any of that. I walked in and I just felt the grief, the heaviness, the sadness, the pain. I just felt it and I literally just started crying. Like, that's never happened to me before. Like that was powerful and that was so visceral. And you just feel, and everyone said the same thing. They said like, that it's amazing how much like emotion and like feeling must be in that temple.
It was so heavy for me. Like I had to sit down.
Yeah.
I was just trying to stand there and just contain it.
Yeah.
I felt that in my body.
Yeah. But it's a beautiful space. I think it's really nice, you know, to acknowledge, and it felt kind of nice knowing that like everyone is hurting. Everyone has lost someone. And like we are all united in that. Yeah.
That was a shared space. Because I think like, you know, and I'm seeing in generalities here, but I know a lot of more like tribal and communal cultures, you know, when they have a lot more of a ritual around, let's say like the passing of a loved one, there's a lot more togetherness. There's a lot more, it's not that I want to say it's very clinical and sterile the way that we do, you know, cemeteries in the Western world, but having lost my father about 5 years ago, you know, there's a certain level of like, it's kind of, it's not insincere, but it just feels like you're just going through all these motions and you're doing all these things, and there wasn't really much kind of like, you know, injection for maybe personality and life to kind of happen. It's all very solemn and everyone's by themselves and you're wearing black and it's all very morbid. And, you know, whereas when I actually saw my you know, late grandfather who passed away only just in the last few months, and I saw photos of what the passing was, you know, there was a lot more color, a lot more celebration, but a lot more togetherness. And I just felt like I saw a bit of an overlap or a connection with how Temple really had a space for people to come together. I think the beautiful thing I saw was that like someone might be crying alone, but then someone nearby who was also there present would actually come over and just check in with them and ask like, do they need a shoulder? Do they want to, and they just like accept a hug or they'd accept, you know, the tear, or just hearing them and being them for that. I thought that was beautiful that strangers could get together and do that. That was at least what my take was when I then went a second time, had about an hour and a half there. And while I was inward with myself, I just liked observing and feeling this kind of like, this connection with others. It's like I didn't know what their story was. I didn't know what that person meant to them, but it's like we were all feeling it.
Yeah.
And that was, whether we were dancing on the playa or sitting in the temple, there was a lot of those moments when, you could just connect with others.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, temple was beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, last few points. Final thoughts. What did we do well? Well, we mentioned one already. We did our food well.
Yep.
And I think we almost over-prepared, if I'm honest.
I don't know if there's ever such a thing.
No, but like...
You can never prepare. Imagine if the weather turned and we had rain.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like,
true.
That might have tested us.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. We, by the way, for reference, I know whether we put photos or videos up,
Oh, yeah.
Season Burners told us this was the best run of weather they had in like 20 years.
Yeah. We were so lucky. I feel like I felt this, that like we've had the most amazing experience. It's never going to live up to
probably never going to live up. Because it's the virgin burn, it's the shininess.
We're never going to get that, right? It's the honeymoon. It's the honeymoon.
Yeah, that's fine.
But that's okay. I'm glad we
we're
got to
self-aware and we're owning it and we've documented that is what it's like.
Yeah. But anyway, how lucky are we to have experienced that?
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. What else did we do well?
I think
Communicated.
Yeah. So not only did we set those expectations, but we had regular check-ins, probably more than we would have normally.
Yeah.
Because things kept swinging and changing and what we wanted to do. And,
It's just a crazy environment.
Yeah. But I think that was it. It was like, hey, what do you want? What are you up to? What do we need? What do you need?
Yeah.
Like, what's the priority?
I think we also, we did well with like managing our rest and health.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Ish.
I think we did.
Yeah.
I think there were times when sometimes we did a late night or we burned hard and then we said, okay, we're going to compensate by getting in bed a little earlier and we had a quieter night and we pulled back.
Yeah. Okay. What could we do better next time?
We had a lot of, well, I'm not going to be too critical.
No.
Because by better...
Well, what would we do differently
I'd probably do
next time?
differently, I'd say.
What would you do?
Because I'd say we did that darn well.
Yeah. What would we
I'd
do
say
differently?
But differently?
Yeah.
And if anyone who's coming in also for the first time or whatever, I'd take the first half of the week, just focus more on getting around to all the workshops and just immersing more in the daytime, just exploring, because there are so many camps and there's so much to transit on your bike and to get around.
Yeah. Because
so
I did
save.
some sunrises early on, but that cooked my sleep.
Yeah. So you got to pick your battle. You got to pick your sunrises or your all-nighters.
Yeah.
And I'd say maybe stack towards the later end of the week when the parties are
When you're
heaving
like,
and
you
there's
just
more
got to get
stuff,
through.
and you got to get through. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I would have done, and especially like when we discovered some amazing camps, kind of in the final 3-4 days before they were closing
Yeah,
up.
and the workshops stop
And the
on
workshops-
Friday. Most of them.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas I wish we'd at least started getting to them
So
sooner.
something I think would have helped us is like we only downloaded the app like a day out.
Yeah.
So in
yeah.
future,
Yeah.
having like making sure I schedule in like we were packed to the brim leading up to Burning Man,
Yeah.
so we barely
So we
had
didn't
any
have
time.
time to-
But in future, I would download the app way earlier and like favorite
Yeah.
or like, and now we know like amazing camps that we would go back to again. So
Yeah.
it's all cutting ourselves some slack because we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
That would be the difference.
planning out like workshops that you really want to go to and like having more of a structure for those first few days.
Yeah.
And then like the last couple of days, kind of like just go for it, like just do whatever you
let it go.
want.
Love it.
Because there's an element of like, you can plan, but you can't plan at Burning Man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and so I think I give myself
someone likes
grace for like
control,
missing
yeah.
a few things and like
Yeah, you
needing
gotta-
a bit of rest. And yeah, it's wild because there's so much FOMO. You're like, oh my God, I'm missing out. But then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, but I also need to rest. And
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
so much. That's
Media
a
City,
constant
the best
battle.
place to be is where you are, is right where your feet are,
Yeah.
right where the dust is beneath your feet.
Yeah.
On the tail end of that, though, we noticed, and we had this observation shared with a few in our camp, that there felt like there was a big either energy or like kind of culture shift. I don't know how to describe it, or like mood shift in the last 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Maddie alluded to it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the weekend crowd, and it was off the back of a long weekend in the States.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, that was probably like a full send, big DJ, big acts on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
But it just felt a little bit like, I don't know, we called it tech bro culture. Obviously, a lot of from the San Francisco
Tech bro.
Bay Area. Shout out, I used to be a tech bro myself, so I'm actually calling myself out. That's why I could identify. It takes one to know one. A lot of the partiers, a lot more maybe the influencers. I want to be snapped on Instagram energy, and that's fine. Each their own. But I think come like Saturday, Sunday, we probably wanted to get out a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I probably
That's how we
would
might
have
done it
left
differently.
on the Sunday.
On the Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to give you an idea, the man burns on the Saturday, which is the iconic symbol that started the whole experience, and then on the Sunday they burn the temple.
Yeah.
Or it's called temple burn.
Yeah.
So
Which I'm glad
we've
we
experienced
experienced that. But again, like
Yep.
now that we've experienced it, I think
Yep.
I would, because Sunday was weird.
Sunday was a weird.
I
day,
just
wasn't
felt
it?
this massive like
Yeah.
drop in my energy and like
Yeah, yeah.
and it just like it changed. I wasn't really feeling as
Yeah.
safe
Yeah.
at Burning Man.
The partying got a bit weird of late night on Sunday.
and then there was a big dust storm that came in, so I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that also like threw people a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe we get out a little bit earlier.
an
We do the man burn, and then because I saw a lot of vehicles leaving
Yeah.
on the Saturday night,
Yeah.
which I understand a lot of season
Yeah,
burners
and so
told
then
us.
Sunday, it's like
Yeah.
the city's kind of half alive.
Yeah,
It's
people are packing
yeah.
down, like no one's really
Yeah.
there. Like, you
Yeah.
can probably save yourself that.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing I do differently. I think really
Yeah.
a big one.
Yeah. Same.
But other than maybe loading up on a few more outfits, because
Yeah,
now it's like we've closed the biggest issue of not knowing what we don't know.
Yeah.
And hopefully what we've shared, we've kind of, again,
It was difficult for us
Covered a few
because
of
we were
those.
like traveling and on the go, and like I wanted
Yeah.
what I would do next time, I want to give more.
100%.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
want to like bring things to actually give out on the play. Like we
Yeah.
gave in other ways with our time,
Yeah.
and food,
Yeah.
but like I would have loved. I didn't have access to a kitchen or an oven, but I really would have loved to have like bake some brownies, to, like give out.
Yeah.
Or,
I
like,
would have loved to have brought a DJ, like DJ equipment to maybe DJ for my camp or
Yeah.
contribute.
And like I think in future we would love to run a workshop.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that at least closes the gap, and I think the reason
Well,
why
we did
people
run
come
some
back,
workshops, but we'd like to run some of our own.
That's a. I'm not going to put a
story
spot.
for off camera.
That's enough. I'm not going to put a spotlight on that workshop. A workshop of one, if that's all we mean. At least it was one attendant. Anyway, I also think that's why there is a culture of reciprocating or returning to burning,
Yeah.
because the first time, like a camp leader said,
Yeah,
you're just going to be, it's overwhelmed.com.
Yeah.
And you're just going to absorb, and you're literally
Yeah.
going to be receiving not just like
Yeah.
actual gifts, but just so much sensory input.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what gives you the inspiration, the catalyst to
Yeah.
say, right, I understand my place, my gifts, how to manage myself. I'm not now going to be spending the next 3 burns
Yeah.
worrying about all the logistics and who I'm going to be with.
Yeah.
I can now focus on preparing my gifts or my
Yeah.
contribution
Yeah,
towards what
because
I want to do.
honestly, like I didn't say this before, but I said this time and time again afterwards. One of the most amazing things that I felt was like it's just one of the most beautiful experiences from Burning Man was how you see how much time, effort, money, love
incredible.
people put into what they bring to
Incredible.
Burning Man. Like the art, the mutant cars,
Yeah,
the
yeah. The
stages,
shows,
the camps, like
yeah.
everything. Like it is insane, and it's all for love
Yeah.
and for other people's enjoyment. It's
Yeah.
not for monetary gain at all. Everyone loses money on it.
They make losses. We
Yeah.
met an owner or a co-owner of one of the art installations, and he was
Yeah.
up front, like
Yeah.
that he's making a loss, but you only do that because that is an
You wanna-
expression, a giving.
And it's
absolutely.
just like, it's so heartwarming to see
that in the
that
world.
and experience that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the challenge and the dilemma that we're in right now is it's been a week since the burn, at least when we were recording this. We've been in Lake Tahoe, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
There's a lot about this decompression, this culture of like, returning to the real world and reintegrating. But I really think like, whether you're an actual seasoned burner or you're thinking about doing this, it's like there are pockets of people like this in the world.
Yeah.
And it is so important that if you feel like you're in an environment with people that aren't empowering you, like you don't have to go to Burning Man necessarily.
No.
But if you find people that create that magic and reignite that spark, that hope, that joy, that faith that there are good people in the world, it's like we can now hopefully take what we've taken and spread it with others in the world through the form of sharing this with you if you're listening to it, and others out there, not being like, oh, it's just this exclusive 1 week in the world where we just become a little bit culty and then we come back into the world. I think it's actually like the real ethos is to spread that magic.
Totally.
That's right?
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the world does need more Burning
The
Man.
world needs the world needs more dust, basically. Well, not too much, not too much in the lungs.
No,
but
yeah.
Anyway,
That's a wrap.
I think that's a beautiful wrap.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well
Any
done.
final statements? Any final thoughts to anyone watching this if they're thinking about it on the
If you
fence?
listen to this and you're like, oh, that sounds interesting, just go.
Just go.
Just go.
Yeah. We'll whack a cheeky link at the very, very top wherever you're seeing this to Burning Man. That's it. Like, if you just want to explore yourself, if we've at least moved your thought, I can definitely say we're strapped in for more in the future.
Yeah.
Potentially Africa Burn might be the next one.
I reckon.
Held in South Africa. It's part of an extended trip.
Yeah.
But as
do it.
always, my friends, we'll see you when we're next on the road. Where are you heading to next?
Yosemite.
Oh, there's the teaser. And someone's birthday is around the corner. Amazing. So, next week we managed to snag ourselves some...
Oh, yeah, we were so lucky.
Miraculous permits.
Let's save that for the next one.
We'll save it for the next time, but we'll probably be coming from one of the most iconic national parks in North America.
Yeah.
Love you and leave you guys. Much love.